My 5th rank for Jean Grey is finally getting her showcase today. Out of every single showcase that I announced earlier this week, this was going to be the longest one and probably the one I was looking forward to the most, because this actually wasn't originally a 1-hour video, and then I cut it down to like 41 minutes just to save both my voice and time and just not show things that you guys might have already seen before earlier in the showcase, because I don't need to put everything in there, just the things that are important. And then again, you really don't need to watch 41 minutes to understand Jean Grey, absolutely not. But I think I have filled this to the brim with really cool fights that show off both Jean's utility and then her strength against endgame bosses and very important BG's fights and war fights and many different things that are going to show the power of Jean Grey. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into the showcase here, with the first fight being against Realm of Legends Winter Soldier, of course, to show off a basic rotation. This is the rotation I use basically for Jean for about every fight, and it's literally going to be a special 1 into a special 2. Now, on the way to doing those things, you are going to be using light ending combos because you want to place Neuro Shocks on the opponents, which come from your light 2, 3, and 4. And then you're going to drop the special 1, which is going to purify all of those Neuro Shocks, replace them with passives, which is great, place a couple more passives, and then we're going to go ahead and build to just under 2 bars of power, Relic into my heavy attack, trigger my uncanny passives, making my special cheaper, and then just nuke the crap out of him with my special 2, and only 1 crit is needed to kill him there, and that is a 34-second fight. So, now we're going to go fight this rank 4 Sig 200 Yelena Belova, starting with the BG's fights here, and this is from the Conflictor meta, Conflictor and Coda. And of course, Coda is going to be giving us a couple extra sources of damage here, but to compensate for that, they're also getting a lot more power, meaning I have to bait a lot more specials, so the time difference really isn't a difference at all in the grand scheme of things. Jean Grey is very good for Yelena. Neuro Shocks and any form of damage over time debuff inflicted on an attack is not going to have its attack rating reduced by Yelena's kit, if I remember correctly. So I don't have to worry about having less Neuroshock damage. And then we're also going to place a Daunted on the special 2, which is going to make it to where we can do 100% of our damage anyway. And then we do get 2 crits there, which is going to finish her off. And if it didn't, then the Neuroshock chip damage afterwards would finish her off. And then we finish the fight in only 44 seconds, which is extremely fast for Yelena. She is definitely meant to stall you, and she's very good at that, but Jean Grey is probably one of the best counters to her. Now we're going to go fight this rank 4 Attuma. This is also Conflictor meta, I think. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. It doesn't matter either way. Yeah, it's Conflictor. But Jean is going to hard counter skill champ Thorn effects. Actually, just Thorn effects in general, as you're going to see later in the video. If we have our force field active, and it's not going to take any force field damage, of course, so you're pretty much always going to have the force field active. Got a little lucky there with the stand-up intercept, because I forgot about Conflictor would push him red in that moment, but it did not matter. So rank 4 Attuma down in literally 36 seconds. Now we're going to go fight a rank 3 Onslaught. This is a pretty fun one. There's nothing in particular that makes Jean like really good for Onslaught, except for the fact that I think her force field is very valuable here, because normally versus Onslaught you're going to be taking a bunch of chip damage from the Neuroshocks, and instead your force field's going to take that if your Onslaught doesn't just walk up and light attack you and remove the force field. So you get the idea though. Like, it would be taking a lot of that neuro chip damage that Jean would normally be taking. This is Invade, by the way, so no extra damage from Coda, and we have to bait more specials still because of the Energized. But, like, all that neuro chip damage would be going into her force field if we actually had it active. And also, we are immune to the reverse controls, so the Delirium doesn't even get placed on me there, which is super good. And then I'm going to take some time to base special here, and then of course he's not going to want to throw it, so I end up just comboing him to death. So there goes a Onslaught in about 50 seconds, 51, yep. And then we're going to move on to fight Enchantress. This one was really fun. So this is Conflictor Enchantress. Enchantress with any power gain nodes is kind of ridiculous to fight, to be honest. So the fact that Jean was able to do this really well was impressive to me. And then Neuroshocks can't miss. So if Enchantress gets her Untouchable spell, then we don't have to worry about her heavies, or not her heavies missing, but countering her heavy attack missing, or just missing in general. Which is really good, because everyone knows how BS Enchantress's Untouchable is, so the fact that she's able to counter that very well is very valuable. So here I'm going to go ahead, bait a heavy attack, and then go for a knockdown with my special 1, remove all of her spells there. And now you just want to start rushing special 2. She drops a special 1, unfortunately, but again, we have the Neuros to be able to just counter her very well. And as you can see there, I get the heavy counter. And then we're going to go ahead and start building up to that special 2 once more. And then hopefully it is going to kill her. I'm going for a bunch of heavies here. Place a little bit of extra Neuros, push her to 2 bars as well. And then we don't even take any block damage because of the force field. And then the special 2 does finish her off. And that's an Enchantress with extra power gain down in 65 seconds, which was really, really impressive to me. Now we're going to go fight Bullseye. This is Conflictor. And this fight is definitely very difficult with Conflictor because, again, it's just another defender that just kind of goes nuts when you give them power gain nodes. But Jean has a passive stun when she's awakened, when she would parry, meaning Bullseye can't evade during that. Also, that chip damage is going to be taken by your force field when the force field's active, which is great. He was very special 1 happy in this fight, so I'm going to end up losing my force field early in other scenarios where I might not if he wasn't a special 1 happy, but it's fine. Furthermore, we're also going to be placing Exhaustion debuffs, which is reducing Bullseye's critical damage rating by a lot, which is really good, especially when he's critting through the block all the time, as you guys know. So I'm going to push him to and evade accidents, and then go for another special 1 and just let the Neuroshocks finish him off, because now that we have 27 passive ones, they're just doing a lot of damage. So anyway, that fight goes down in an amount of seconds that I honestly didn't even see, but we're going to see another Bullseye later where you can get a better idea of what that looks like in a more normal meta, because yeah, the Conflictor is just like, Conflictor Bullseye is just the worst thing ever. Anyway, now we're going to go fight this Lumatrix here. Lumatrix is definitely an annoying defender because sometimes he's going to evade, sometimes he's going to cause you to miss. Well, Jean counters the miss aspect of the fight, and she also just has a crazy amount of damage, crazy amount of damage to where you can deal with the only miss part really well, because then you're just going to go ahead and let him do his things and then kill him very fast, so you don't have to worry about pushing him to 2 bars later on in the fight, because he's going to be dead pretty fast. So anyway, I'm going to go for the special 2 right there. Rank 3 Lumatrix and Coda Tactic, but we have so much overkill damage on the special 2 that would still die in like the same speed. So now we're going to go fight a Nick Fury. Yet again, Conflictor Coda meta, and this is one where I'm not exactly sure like the perfect rotation for this one, because it's a little weird where, yeah, he's gonna purify like all your Neuroshocks when he gets into second life. It's the same reason I don't really like Dazzler for Nick Fury, because you do all of your ramp up into one thing, and then you cash it out, and then Nick's still alive, and then you have to re-ramp and stuff. Now, I don't think Jean feels that to an extent as Dazzler does, because Jean can get her psionic charges, which she can keep half of with her special 2, which is helpful for sure. As you can see, we have 9 here, and then they're rounded down to 5, so that means my special 2 burst damage is going to count for 5 Neuroshocks still, along with whatever else I have. Which is definitely helpful, and it means that, yeah, this is probably one of the better rotations. The alternate thing I might do is just spam special 2s, which I think is also a really good strategy for this fight. Either way he goes down, it's like 60 seconds, but if I was to try that again, I'd go for the special 2 only method and see exactly how good it is, while weaving in a lot of heavy attacks to save those psionic charges for his second life, because again, we get to keep half of them after the special 2. Now we're going to fight a Black Panther Civil War. This one's really good because, obviously, as you know, Black Panther likes to reflect your stuns a lot. If they're passive, then he can't. And Jean is going to have that passive stun whenever she's awakened. So, furthermore, this is invade, so I'm not really parrying anyway, but obviously in another meta, then you can see where that utility piece is useful. Also, Black Panther is purifying the Neuroshocks with his own kit, so I don't need to weave in a heavy attack to get the uncanny passives, which, you know, usually that's not a big deal to deal with anyway, but it makes it easier for her to take Black Panther because of that. So, now we're going to go fight Killmonger, the other Wakandan defender, and this is a rank 4 Sig 200 Killmonger. As you know, Jean Grey counters Thorns damage, so the Thorns from Killmonger, as long as I have my shield up, is not going to do anything. So I do know there's a bug with a relic going on. I think it's the Storm Relic, where you will take reverb damage if you activate the Storm Relic on him. I'm running Sinister, so I don't have to deal with that problem, but just be aware that if your Sync Shield, that's Penny. If your Force Field is actually running low on strength, it might be because you're running the Storm Relic and you're taking damage from that. Otherwise, it's just a Killmonger with no reverb. He does have a lot of power gain, granted, because naturally there's going to be a lot of power gain when you're spamming a lot of Neuroshocks against Killmonger. Now, it does get less potent the more power Killmonger has, but it's still there and it's still annoying, so I would never like full send. Like as you saw there, I didn't push him red with my special 2 in case he still somehow lives at the end of my special 2, and then I don't want to push him red. So anyway, now we're gonna fight this Bullseye. This is on node 11 in Alliance War, and he's got a root node. That's really the only thing that's part of this fight. I'm showing you this mainly because it's another Bullseye example of how to take Bullseye with Jean. And I don't think this goes perfectly, but it's also Bullseye with more health than your average BG's fight. This has about 100,000, maybe more health than a rank 4 Bullseye, so that is something to definitely note. But as you can see, we just hit him during my passive stun a lot, and then we pushed him to 2 bars with that, which is going to place a vulnerability on me, which is going to reduce my block proficiency and increase his bleed damage, which is annoying, but right there, any Bullseye and BGs would be dead, and we just have to chip him down a little bit with this Alliance War fight because he has a little more health. And then I messed up, of course, because, yeah, I sometimes mess up, but he does go down still, so it's all good. And then that fight was like 50 seconds. It would have been 40 if it was a BG's fight and a regular meta. So now we're going to go fight Deathless Thanos on this Thorns node in Alliance War. Originally, I thought that Jean's Thorns counter was limited to only the skill class, and it turns out that's not true. If it is physical Thorns damage, such as what this Alliance War node has, she is going to counter it. So the only thing I need to do is make sure that I have my force field. Now, this is a Deathless Thanos, so he's going to eventually chip down my force field, especially when I need to parry a lot, because I do need to get those heavy attacks, because I want to be placing a lot of passive Neuroshocks with my special 1. I think that's what I do, at least. And yeah, because the Neuroshocks are going to be a big form of damage in this fight. I'm not using special 2s very much in this fight because his protection is just going to get in the way. So a lot of special 1s. I do go for a special 2 or 2 some point in the fights, because at one point it just felt kind of worth it. And then, am I going to go for a special 1 here? I thought I would, but I'm actually just going to let the protection run out and then go for the special 2, which is also going to be pretty good. And then the Daunted gets around the protection a little bit, because while the protection is 100% potency, the Daunted is causing them to take 35% more damage during her special attack. So he's taking 35% damage because you add the Daunted potency on top of the protection. So you do end up doing some damage. Now, my Sync Shield is running low, so I am going to be very careful at this point with trying to not let it run all the way out so I can have full Thorns counter and then Thanos is going to die before that runs out. But it is going to get very close at some point in the fight. And I'm also like trying to use a lot of heavy attacks because I don't want to hit him too many times to possibly trigger the counter punch. But here I see that I have my kill shot, so I'm going to take it, and then he's going to go down. So very nice, very clean Thanos on Thorn's fight, and that went even better than I expected. Again, I didn't even think about how this might work outside the skill class originally, so I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that. Okay, now we're going to go fight a Yelena boss. So this one is also going to take longer than I expected. Now, if this was in Season War, I would be boosted, which would be a big difference because you always boost in Season War. So this fight would feel very different. But this is a Yelena with 50% energize, which is very annoying because if I'm only baiting special ones, that means this fight's going to take a lot longer. And I do only want to bait SP ones if I can help it, because that's just the safe way to take a boss. Especially, well, not necessarily a safe way to take a boss, but a safe way to take a Yelena boss. So anyway, I'm dropping my special 1 there, and now I want to try to get to my special 2. And I know I'm going to have to do multiple of these cycles because I know she was reducing my basic attack rating and my special attack rating by a good bit until I get that daunted up, which is fine. And I know that I'm going to have to bait a lot more specials from her because of the fact that she has the energize. So all those annoyances aside, we're still going to get her down. It's just going to take longer than I anticipated. As you can see here, I'm going to go for a heavy into a special 2, and then I bring her all the way down to 60%, which is great. I do get a partial, almost full dex on her special 2, because I do have a lot of practice in it. But I don't want to be pushing her to there very consistently. I just want to keep baiting the special ones, play this like a normal in-season war fight with the slow and steady method, and then we're going to eventually get her down. I think I'm going to go for a 5-8 combo into a special 1 here. No, I do go for an intercept and then the special 1. So we have 16 Neuroshocks now, and then she's going to get into her elimination mode very shortly, so I do need to be very careful of that. I'm watching her combo meter, making sure I can get my special 2 off before that happens, and I just barely do. If she dropped a special attack here, she would have gone into it early, and now it's time to slow the fight down, because in elimination mode I can only hit her with mediums and hit her block, and then if she gets the impact passive from her special 1, up there was an accident, but that's okay. If she gets her impact passive here, I can only hit her block now. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get her to block. There, I do. And then if I can get her to block again, I'm just going to keep doing that to get her out of elimination mode eventually. And this is just kind of what makes the fight last a while. Like, if I was boosted, she'd be dead before elimination mode actually happened. But unfortunately, I wasn't boosted here because it's off-season war. Maybe I should have just done it because I had boost expiring, honestly, but it's not a big deal. And then I'm going to go ahead and build up to close to a special 2. I might drop a special 1 before I drop the special 2, I don't remember. But she's very close to dead now, 18%. There's not much more I need to do. I think I might just go for a special 2 and end the fight. Nope, special 1 actually. Okay, I'm surprised I did that. We're gonna do 2 more combos, relic heavy, special 2, and that's gonna finish the fight. So anyway, I'm gonna go for a another special bait, and then we're almost to the end of the fight. And then boop 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 boop, go for a heavy attack. I'm sorry, relic, heavy attack, special 2, and then she's definitely dead. So there goes that Yelena fight in just over 3 minutes. Would have been about 2 if I was boosted, like in normal war, but that's perfectly fine. So anyway, that was a pretty cool one. From here, we're going to move on to just a fun little power shield lane in Act content. I don't remember exactly which boss or which quest this is, but as a mutant, she's naturally the class that synergizes the best with power shield, and honestly, I just wanted to see the fun yellow number. So we're only going to see 2 fights from this path, but it is definitely a fun watch. So I'm just going to go for the special 1 and then the special 2, because of the fact that we purified and placed all those narrow shocks on the special 1, they're doing extra damage as well. As you can see here, we're doing like 10,000 damage per tick, and then like I don't even know what the burst damage for that special 2 was. It was kind of ridiculous, in case you didn't notice. But we're gonna go fight Mr. Negative now, just the second fight on this path. And I think this is 912, but I could be very mistaken. I really don't know where. But it's the boss with the Silver Surfer in it, I do know that. Anyway, it's a really fun path, and I have a delirium on me there, but it doesn't matter because I simply just am immune to inverted controls, so I don't really care that I have the delirium on me, which is pretty great. And then I'm going to go ahead and dex this special 2, and then go for my special 2 here, and then this almost kills. I tried just to do a rotation where I go straight for the special 2, and it didn't really actually kill him, so I'm just going to go for the relic into a special 1, and then that is going to finish the job. So from here we're going to move on to fight an Elektra. This is the Elektra in the Labyrinth of Legends, to show off how she does for longer fights. So a couple things here. As you know, you kind of ramp up your neuroshocks by doing a special 1, and then you cash out with a special 2. But in some scenarios, you have enough time in the fight and enough time on your neuroshocks to where you can do 2 SP2s after your first SP1. So you can just stack up that damage on the special 2 after only 1 special 1's worth of ramp. And that's kind of what we're going to be doing here. I'm going to go for a heavy attack, and then I'm going to go for a special 2. And then we're going to rush back to another special 2 right after that, ideally with those neuroshocks still active. I have a couple of my psionic charges active as well, just for a little bit more damage. But anyway, I need Elektra to drop a special right here, or I can just eat a combo, that also works I guess, and then I drop a special 2, and we do some really nice burst damage on that. Unfortunately, my passive neuroshocks are finally falling off, but I knew that was going to happen anyway, and I got the cash out with 2 special 2s, so it was totally worth it. And yeah, her long fight damage isn't anything crazy. Like, I don't think she's soloing a Necropolis fight, because she is designed for short fights at heart, and she's very good at doing short fights, of course, but she doesn't really have a good long form content damage cycle, unfortunately. But that's fine, she doesn't really need to. So I'm going to go for another special 2 there and then finish her off, and then that is 1.6 or 7 million health in 1 minute and 32 seconds, which is still really fast actually. Like, genuinely, that's really good damage. Okay, so now we're going to go to the Wheel of Fate. This is the Dazzler in the Wheel of Fate. I sped this fight up again because, like, she's not meant to take long fights. This fight is like 3 million health, so it's definitely a slog for her, but she has a couple advantages to this. I think this was the second quest where I used her for this, and she's good for this because she counters the miss, so the falter doesn't really matter. That's kind of like the only real reason, but you know, sometimes that's just enough when you have tag limits as limiting as Wheel of Fate is, because yeah, the tag locks are definitely quite extensive sometimes. I don't know how extensive they were for Quest 2 of Dazzler, but there's definitely one that I wanted to use Jean for, because she works very well for this fight. We're just going to be countering her special 1s a lot, baiting and punching the special 1s a lot, and then going for a bunch of special 1, special 2s. And there, I did push her to special 2 on accident, but the force field took all of our damage, which is amazing. I do absolutely love the force field mechanic that Jean has. So, drop another special 2 there, do some really good burst damage on it. Neros fall off, but that's perfectly fine. And then I need to go for another special 1 here, place the Neros back, which I do right there. Counter her special 1, just keep baiting and punching the special 1s. We don't gain power on the second hit of our heavy if we're above a bar of power. That's just to make sure that you don't accidentally go to 3 bars when you don't mean to, which has happened to me with other champions before. But yeah, Jean's not going to let that happen, because her heavy attack, the second hit again, doesn't grant power. And there might be other reasons that doesn't grant power that function with her kit on offense. I don't really know exactly, but I'm sure that's the main one. So anyway, Dazzler's about to go down here. Bait one more special 1, and then the Neuros kill her during the special attack. So we move on now to fight Thanos in the Wheel of Fate. This was in Quest 1, I sped this fight up because it's a very long slog, but the fight, like the nodes here are combat deja vu weakness, which is really bad for Jean because she wants to be spamming her light attacks. And then also one that's going to place inverted controls and one with unblockable. So the inverted controls one is why she's good for this fight, because if you're immune to the inverted controls, then there's a lot less threat to the fight. It's kind of just a big Thanos at that point. But I do have to change my rotation a lot in order to actually do damage. I need to try to find a way to ramp while also not getting weakness on me. So my game plan ended up being to be doing light heavy, because that's going to be how I'm going to be placing Neuro Shocks without spamming a bunch of light attacks that are going to be basically just fodder for weakness. So anyway, that was kind of the rotation I went for, and kind of just spamming special 2s. I think I go for some special ones, or maybe I do alternate. And this fight obviously takes forever, which is why it's sped up so much, because it's a 9-minute fight. But also, that's just how long this Thanos fight is with most champs, honestly. Like, I used Chavez for this, it took like 5 minutes, but that's because Chavez is a very, very ideal counter to Deathless Thanos in general, and also can just handle the nodes very well if I manage invert controls properly. And yeah, Jean is definitely not a very good Deathless Thanos counter. I know I showed her earlier against the Thorns fight, and the fact that Jean does work very well for that fight, because again, there's no Thorns, there's no unblockable from the node either. But she's not good for Thanos in general, which is what made the fight last so long against that Alliance War fight. It's very similar here. So I do drop a special 2 into the protection there, which was completely on accident and definitely made me lose a good bit of damage, but it's okay. So I just keep doing the things, and then I'm going to eventually kill him. Drop a special 2 there. It does not do that much damage, but that's okay. I had a weakness on me, which definitely ruined the fun a little bit, but slowly but surely he's going to go down, and I think we're going to kill him in just a couple more seconds now. I dropped a special 2, didn't do crazy damage or anything, but it's fine. I have all 10 of the psionic charges, drop a special 2 there, and he's dead. And yeah, 9-minute solo with Jean, which feels pretty good. So from here, we're going to move on to actually fight the Scytalis boss in 8.1, but along the way, there was a pretty cool path that was designed for mutants I decided to take. This one's one where you want to get a bunch of bleeds on you and then drop a special attack, and then you're going to purify the bleeds, and then you're going to get a bunch of furies from them. And the bleed damage is getting taken over by Jean's force field, which is great. Also, you can purify the bleeds or go immune to them, so it actually wasn't even a special attack that you need to remove them, my bad. But this was pretty fun. So anyway, it's just like Jean with 35% furies, so that I think I had like 10 of them, so 350% extra attack, literally just for laughs because it was on the way to the Scytalis boss anyway. But the force field taking the blunt of the bleed damage is also pretty great there. It gives you resistance to some of them, or you get resistance to the bleeds too, but also when there's like 10 of them, you're still taking a decent bit of bleed damage, so that's definitely something. Anyway, I'm going to be going for not a special 2 there, just a special 1, and then Spidey and Ionine is dead, so then we're going to do just one more fight on the path against this mole man here, and yeah, he's going to die very fast. He's going to purify the Neuroshocks, give me the uncanny passives, which is glorious, and then I accidentally miss a parry there, but that's fine, and then I just go for a special 2 with only 2 of the Furies, and he's already almost dead. So anyway, I think I need to go get to 5 hits in my combo meter, and then we place the special 1, and then he's just going to die from the Neuroshock damage. So there goes Mold Man, and now we're going to fight the Scytalis boss. So this one is a really fun boss in my opinion. She's got this mechanic where you want to trigger her counter evade with your second medium, and then block the counter evade, which is pretty easy. And then you're going to be gaining power, and you want to get her rooted. She's going to place traps on the field, and your goal is to push her into them. And that's exactly what we're going to do here with Jean. I'm going to hold my special attack, wait for that trap to set, which it does right there, and then hit her into the trap with my special. And we're just going to be seeing how fast Jean can kill this mainly. So I keep spamming my special 1 there. Her corrupted armor is down, and then I'm gonna go for a special 2. Not there. I didn't have any debuffs to actually purify, unfortunately, for the uncanny passives, but that's fine, because we push her into the next phase anyway, so it probably was better off that way. I need to get her to drop a special 2, which I'm going to do right there. I thought she had a 2-hit heavy, but it's actually only 1 hit, so I was a little bit caught by surprise there. And then, yes, she sets her trap, and then I'm going to go for my special 1, push her into the trap, and now she's wounded once again. We're doing the full damage, and then I'm going to need to go for a special 2 real quick, which I do right there, and then, yeah, she's in phase 3 just like that. So, I know, like, 7-star rank 4s aren't designed to be taking this, but at the same time, it's still fun to watch, and that's kind of the whole thing. If I was doing this with a 6-star Jean, it would still be fun to watch, right? So, now, I need her to drop a special 1 again, which she does right here. And then, if your Jean's awakened, that sabotage actually doesn't do anything. Which my Jean wasn't in this fight, she got awakened later. But basically when she's awakened, your parry stun can't have its ability accuracy reduced by skill champs, so the sabotage reducing my ability accuracy by 70%, I believe, doesn't actually do anything there, because I can't have my stun ability accuracy reduced. So I keep triggering the counter evade there, going ahead and gaining more power from it, which is great, but I do need to push her to special 2, which is what I'm going to do in just a second. So going to drop my special 2, do a little bit of damage, but most of it's capped by her protection, but that's fine. I do go ahead and get her to finish her special 2. I don't know why I'm pushing her away from her own trap, but that's fine. Her special 1 is enough distance to where we're getting her close to it anyway. And then I'm going to go for my special 1, push her in there, and then she's still taking 50% less damage, but also that's only 2% health left, so we can clean that up pretty fast at this point. 16 neuroshocks is going to tick her away, and then we kill her right in the middle of the combo right there with full health. So that was pretty fun. And then the last fight of this video is going to be the Glykhan boss. I really liked Jean for this one. I thought she was very solid for it. Again, just a lot of that force field taking any chip damage that I accidentally get on me is a really big deal for this one. Another reason Jean is pretty good for this fight is you can't actually increase your attack rating, crit rating, crit damage rating, stuff like that at all versus Glykhan here. But we can do is use the Daunted that she has to basically multiply the amount of damage he takes on his special attacks by a lot. Because he's naturally giving us prowess, which, let's just say prowess each gives 10%, and I have 5 of them. That's 50%, right? So, Daunted doesn't work like a prowess. It works a little bit differently. It makes the opponent take more damage during your special attack. So, instead of adding the 35 to the 50, what we're instead going to do is multiply the 50 by 135%, which maths up to 67.5% prowess potency, basically. However, that does sound lower than the 85% I mentioned earlier, right? Well, it grows exponentially very well. So basically, if you have 100 prowess potency and then you add the 35, well, you're doing 135% special damage. And then if the Daunted was a prowess, you'd also be doing 135% special damage. So that means that anytime that it goes above 100, the Daunted is actually going to be better, just because of how the exponents work. So anyway, all that math aside, you're probably not coming here to listen to math. You're here to watch Jean Grey take cool fights. So the whole thing I need to be doing is just going for special 2s. I don't know if I was doing that properly earlier, but it's fine. Like, I was still trying to get the flow of the fight because it's been a while since I took this one. But we do some really nice damage on the special 2 there. And then, yeah, I get out of his special attack, and then I need to be trying to trigger these punishments, which are parry, hit block with a light 1, use relic, intercept twice, or launch a special. Basically, when I do that, he's going to give me a prowess, and I want to use those prowess to do big damage in yellow, and then eventually get him into the next phase. The only way you can actually do damage to Glykhan is in yellow, and the only way you can get those yellow numbers activated is if you counter his special or a heavy with any attack, really, and then you're going to be doing all yellow, which is exactly what he wants. So here he's in phase 2 now, which is very similar to phase 1. The difference is he only drops a special at 2 bars of power, and you don't know which special it's going to be. It could be the special 1, it could also be the special 2. The indicator is special 1 is going to be unstoppable, special 2 is going to be unblockable. And that doesn't really mean much because I'm always going to be dexing his specials anyway, and the unstoppable expires like immediately after the special ends, but it's just the indicator, which doesn't really make a big deal. But he is going to root me in the 3rd phase, which is going to make it a bit more of a deal. So anyway, I do need to work on triggering those punishments a little bit more. I need to try to go ahead and his block, and then I do. And then I dex his special 2 right here. Need to go for a relic, which is going to trigger 1, and now we have 9 prowess, and I just need to keep building those prowess because that is my main source of damage, is just doing big special 2s with the prowess. So I drop my special 2 there, and then it brings him to 54. He throws a heavy. As you can see, I counter it and I did actual damage, but I really want to get to special 2 to do the good damage. So I'm going to drop a relic here, again another prowess to get a spirit drain on me, but that's not that bad. Anyway, I counter the special right here, and then I can go for a parry if I want to get another punishment, but I'm not sure if I actually do that. I do the hit block with light attack 1 to gain the other prowess, and then I'm just going to go for a relic into a special 2, and then every time we do that special 2, it just feels even better. 15 prowess now, which is amazing. So building that special 2, as a reminder, our specials are cheaper if I use my heavy attack, because I get the uncanny passive and I can activate them with less power, which is absolutely perfect. So I could possibly go for a special 1 and then bring him to the last phase when I had that daunted up, but I didn't. But it's also fine. I can just heavy attack right here into my special 2, get my power bar expense lower, and then push him into the last phase, which this one is he's going to start with all the punishments, and instead we have to remove them. So I'm going to go for a bunch of intercepts at the start, because the intercept's the one that you want to start removing first. And then in the first 2 phases, you don't really want to be doing it at all, because every time you trigger the punishment, it's actually punishing you a little bit. And I think that one was like, it makes your stun and striker window from parry and the striker have a less chance of activating. So from here, I do want to get rid of the stun and light attack, and also special and relic, of course, but just kind of like priority is getting the intercept done first, which I already did. And then countering a special attack is also removing the punishment, so that's another prowess right there. And yeah, that's kind of the rhythm of the fight. Like, we just don't want to get eaten by his heavy attack, or eat his heavy attack, I should say. Force field would take a lot of the punishment damage, which is ironic that I said that sentence considering how the fight works, but either way, yeah, the force field will be taking the blunt of the damage, which it's taken multiple times in this fight where I get like this passive on me that's doing damage to me. That unfortunately was a wasted special 2. I don't know what I was doing there, but it's okay. I just need to get him to drop a special 2 again, which he does. I remove one more punishment, and there's only one left, which I do remove with the relic here, and then he's going to start getting them back, unfortunately, but that's fine. Again, I talked about how the intercept one makes it to where my striker stun and my parry stun have a less chance of landing. At the same time, it's like, okay, I'm not really parrying that much in this fight in general, so it's not the biggest deal, but it's a little annoying. So here I'm gonna go for the special 2. Holy crap, that felt great. Again, that daunted just increases that prowess potency by so much, makes your special hits feel so great when it happens. And I just need one more special 2, and maybe again I could just drop a special 1, honestly, to get him into the next phase. I really should have just done that. Maybe I doubted my special 1 damage or something, but
It's not a big deal because the special 2 is going to happen right here. And then phase 4, which is like kind of just like 20 seconds, it's literally just I have to kind of chill for like 18 seconds and then do any damage to him and he dies. As you can see, he has the indestructible there, which is going to run out right here, and then I do need to get like my window of opportunity to do damage, which I get by dexing the special there, and then my medium kills him, and that is Glykhan, and that's my rank 4 Gene showcase. So again, this one was one of my favorites to do. Really cool character. Absolutely love playing Jean Grey. First Mutant rank 4. I hope you guys really enjoyed watching the showcase and are interested in ranking up your Genes as well. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.